Namaskar, greetings, and welcome to third episode of Beauty of Failure series between Constantine Pappas and Srividya Nagaraju. In the last two episodes, we have learned a couple of things. Just to recap quickly, the one is I'm not a failure. I might have failed in a situation, but I'm not a failure. Second one is it is temporary. Failure is temporary. And the third is the real fear is not about failing, but reactions of people. And that comes from our past experience. So the message is past is not is equal to future. And the last is that connected to that is that we are not here to impress others, but we are here to express. So we continue to make our efforts in whatever we want to do. So in this episode today, let's talk about what is one of example of our experience of failure and what did we learn and what was the impact of failure. Kont, why don't you share one of your experience of
Yeah,
your failure and the lesson from it?
sure, Shri. So I guess, and as we go through this, what I'd like people to think about for themselves is, who's watching this, is a failure that you may have experienced and reflecting on that as well. So I'll share one that at the time was quite painful. And this was pre 9/11. I'd left Procter and Gamble after 10 years, a great learning organization, a rich organization, a bit wet behind the ears. And I joined a boutique consulting firm. Now, I was one of two consultants who were delivering, a management consulting firm. The company liquidated after 9/11. So 9/11 happened, the company went bust. As I was one of two consultants who was delivering, I lost literally tens of thousands of dollars in expenses, salary, and so forth. And the client that I was servicing, I felt a moral obligation to complete the work, and I was on my own. And it was a very tough emotional period, thinking, what have I done? Leaving a great organization. I've made a big mistake. And I was working like 20 hours a day trying to help this client and not really getting paid for it. So at the time, it was very painful, both mixed emotions of regret and feeling what I was going to do with the future. And I felt stranded, like the rug had been pulled out of my feet.
It must be very difficult, right? That whole roller coaster ride of emotions on one side. So the brain doesn't function when you're emotionally caught up. So how did you actually handle it?
Focus on what I could influence, right? And that's easy to say because it was a lot of mental interference. So just getting the work done, going and coaching the senior executives, and I was much younger then, so there was those insecurities as well. Now, it was probably one of my best learning experiences in my career. I wouldn't be where I am right now or have had the courage to create this business had I not gone through that and been forced to succeed on my own, been forced to learn on my own, and to re-anchor to my values and to be where I am. So by going through that process, my confidence went through the roof. After a couple of years, I was able to build more focus and get to where I am. So I've had many failures, but my mindset around failure has shifted.
Yeah, it looks like you have accepted first step from what I hear from you. You accepted, yes, whatever has happened has happened. I
Yeah,
can't go behind it. I think that's a beauty step. Once the acceptance and you focused on action. Am I right? So the double A,
that's
acceptance
right. Acceptance and action
followed with action. That took you forward. So what are the couple of lessons you learned?
was that I'm actually a great coach because
Mm.
the client kept me on and ended up paying me by myself. Number two, that I could survive without being on a big ship of a corporate, that I could be my own brand.
Yeah. So there's so much of good it happened actually. What it appeared as bad in the initially turned out so good. I think that exactly is beauty of failure.
Correct.
So if I can summarize our discussion today, couple of points to add to that is for me, I got insight as a two A's. First, accept it. then take action, no matter what. Start somewhere. Take, even if it is small action, but get into action mode. That will get you forward. And that's my great message: acceptance and action. Thank you so much, Con. I think we'll continue in the next episode, little more about further step about the beauty of failure.
And thanks for the coaching, Shri.
Namaskar and greetings.